It is certain that there is no peace in this world as long as Napoleon Bonaparte is at liberty. It is necessary to make a great effort to put him in a situation where he cannot do any further mischief.
Despite Wellington's warnings to Europe's leaders, Napoleon was exiled to Elba, a Mediterranean island just 6 miles from the Tuscan coast. Wellington understood what others ignored. Distance meant nothing to a man who had once crossed continents at will. To Napoleon, Elba was not a prison. It was an opportunity. On Elba, Napoleon was far from isolated. Through an active intelligence network, he received regular updates from France, accurate, detailed and up-to-date. As the months passed, a clear picture began to form. Napoleon's successor, King Louis XVIII, was becoming increasingly unpopular. To many, Louis was not a king, but a puppet who stood against the French Revolution. Napoleon no longer believed he was returning for power. He believed he was returning to save France. And on the 26th of February 1815, he seized his moment.
After making a mistake or suffering a misfortune, the man of genius always gets back on his feet.
The British warships assigned to watch Elba were absent, and with barely 1,000 men, Napoleon Bonaparte slipped his island exile and sailed for France. On the afternoon of the 1st of March 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte landed at Gulf Juan after a 54-hour voyage from Elba. There was no ceremony, no army waiting, no banners flying. Only a narrow strip of beach and the beginning of one of the most extraordinary marches in history. Napoleon stepped onto French soil with barely 1,000 men. 700 veterans of the Old Guard, 120 Polish lancers, 4 artillery pieces crewed by 100 men, along with Corsican volunteers, staff officers, sailors from Elba and engineers. Against them stood tens of thousands of soldiers loyal to the French monarchy. So Napoleon did not march towards Paris by open road. Instead, he turned inland, away from royalist strongholds and towards the mountains. It was yet another calculated gamble. If the army turned against him, the return would end in failure. If it joined him, France would fall without a fight. Approaching every town, Napoleon faced the same uncertainty. Would the people rally to him, or would he be met by a firing squad? Across Europe, the reaction was swift. Upon hearing of Napoleon's escape on the 13th of March, the great powers declared him an outlaw. From that moment on, Napoleon Bonaparte could be killed without consequence. In Paris, King Louis XVIII turned to a man who knew Napoleon better than most. Marshal Michel Ney. Ney publicly swore to stop his former emperor. He promised to bring Napoleon back in an iron cage. As Ney marched south to meet Napoleon, he saw what Paris refused to believe. Napoleon was not being resisted, he was being welcomed. On the 14th of March, Napoleon was confronted by royalist troops commanded by Marshal Ney. Napoleon's 1,000 followers immediately formed into fighting formation, ready for battle. However, instead of fighting, Napoleon stepped forward alone. With muskets pointed at him, Napoleon walks further into the line of fire. Silence filled the air. Now standing just several feet away from the line of muskets, Napoleon said,
"If there is one amongst you who wishes to kill his emperor, here I am."
Silence. Then the shouts of
Vive la France!
the soldiers broke ranks. They surrounded and embraced their emperor. Ney and his men did not fight Napoleon, they joined him. And with Ney's defection, the last barrier between Napoleon and Paris collapsed. Five days later, on the 19th of March, Louis XVIII abandoned Paris. Without an army willing to fight, the Bourbon monarchy collapsed without a shot being fired. Napoleon had returned, but Europe would answer.